Posso? Allora, lei non scopre nulla di nuovo, in realtà sta leggendo l'universo, le dinamiche dell'universo che sono antiche, molto antiche. Si dice che in passato, moltissimo tempo fa, si viveva fino a 300, 400, 1000 anni. Vorrei sapere, si vivrà più a lungo, quindi si vivrà più sani e non si morirà, perché se si vivrà tanto a lungo vorrà dire che probabilmente saremo sani per tanto tempo.
Yes. But depends if it's going to be a pleasurable life or a miserable life.
Yeah.
Ma dipende se è una vita bella o miserabile.
Ok, quindi pace e amore.
They choose, but yes, there is the point we are reaching now is that if you can help people with the diseases which are existing now, so there is less energy used to overcome diseases, so we live longer. One of the reasons we have a shorter life, or we had up to now, was because of all these diseases. Now we are finding a solution.
Si pone l'Iran rispetto a questa tecnologia e perché, diciamo, passare attraverso i governi? Non possiamo anche noi privati usufruire indipendentemente da quello che dicono i governi, perché i governi si sa che attuando la politica del do ut des, cioè io do per avere e in natura invece è vero che tutto si dà senza nulla ricevere, lei tutto dà attraverso questa tecnologia senza nulla ricevere. Quindi questa è una cosa che mette in crisi i governi, significa che potrebbe causare un grande caos. Il grande caos vuol dire guerra per poi avere pace.
Okay, first question, what do you think Iran government has to say about this technology?
Nothing. They already said they let it be for the world. Because when they could stop it and block it. But they let it come out to be for the rest of humanity.
Okay. The second question was a long one. I cut in pieces, but the second one is, as your technology is going to be free for everybody and every country, this means that you are giving something free of charge, basically. But this means that the government can use this as a power against each other. So there is the possibility, in your opinion, that after will be a beautiful world with all the countries with this technology, but before having this period of peace, there will be war that make this
there is no
happening.
War. There will not be any war.
Okay.
And the thing is, actually, what we've seen, as is one of my writings very recently, the introduction of this technology has actually brought a lot of peace in some places.
Parlo a nome del gruppo che ha organizzato questa.
I'm speaking about from
Grazie.
Nuovo Paradigma that organized
Francesca, l'anima.
Francesca.
E prima di tutto voglio ringraziarla di essere qua a nome di tutti. I want to thank you. Really,
Thank you very much. Thanks for organizing it.
Okay, thank you.
In your opinion, the possibility that government does the prototype and start to develop the technology, and after normal people can develop further this prototype? And
I don't know. I'm not your government. Be given it,
No,
they make their
generally,
decision.
generally, there is
The
this
decision,
possibility
scientifically is once your government makes the prototypes, make the systems, understand the systems, then they will allocate it to different organizations within the government structure to produce it for certain procedure. The one of the things which we have solved with this technology is that let's say in Italy, you don't have any oil reserves. You
Yes,
import
we have.
everything.
No, we have it.
As such, you don't have. You have a little. You have most of it, nothing. So what happens? You pay a large amount of what you produce in this country to a third world to buy supply. Now, your wealth stays yours because you don't need to import anything anymore. Okay? Your wealth stays part of yours. So your national assets increases. Because everybody has the same knowledge, they can produce whatever they like. So there is no more countries which they become bankers collecting all the money from all the nations. So the only thing which I see this will do is that different governments or different scientists in different countries or even in the same country, because they add their own little bit of knowledge, their own flavor, we're going to get a variety of different systems doing the same thing in different shapes and forms. So in a way, it becomes a service industry free for everybody, but who does the best for what condition. Yeah? And that's the ultimate goal, and I see that in about 2 to 5 years.
Come cambierebbe l'agricoltura e il cibo?
How do you think that this technology can affect the production of food and agriculture?
Very heavily. Very heavily.
Yes.
I didn't speak about it in the presentation, but we are running agricultural side of the technology, where one of the trials which is going on as we speak today, in conjunction with one of the leading universities in Belgium, is that, if you read into my talks, I explained that we have developed a technology where, for example, you get one grain and one stem with a wheat on the top. Now you're getting one grain with 6 to 10 stems and the same harvest on the top. So the harvest increases by 6 to 10 times and the foliage by 15 times. But one thing which has come out very recently out of the trial is that usually, like a grass, a wheat grows one stem and that's it, and it dies. What we're seeing in the trials, which is done on an open field, the roots are growing and the weeds are coming in different places, which means it's totally different than the normal structure we knew. And this, according to the scientists who's running the trial, will change a lot of things, which means you don't need to sow a seed and if it dies you lose everything. The seed forever will stay grow and it keeps on growing weeds from it. Now we have to see what the outcome is. The new trial is going on now, but we have to see. For farming will be totally different from what we see.
E senza modificazioni genetiche, immagino.
No. The system is a gravitational magnetic field, so the way we process the seed has a layer on it, literally, which absorbs moisture from the environment as it needs, and in the same process absorbs nitrogen as it needs. Usually now you give a fertilizer, and when the fertilizer is finished, the wheat has that life. But the 75% of our atmosphere is nitrogen, what we breathe in. Now the wheat is taking as much fertilizer, like you don't need to fertilize the land anymore. It's finished, totally finished. We have data, I can show you the videos of it. We have all been videoed by the scientists, not us. So there is a lot of things which is happening. We have to understand in the near future more and more. We tried the summer wheat, and now winter wheat has gone in last week for growth. We have to see how it responds.
And so organic food.
Is it organic?
Yes.
This
No
is natural.
fertilizing, yes.
Yeah, we don't know yet. We have the original trial was with dilla. Do you know the seed of dilla, the herb?
Cos'è?
Dilla.
È un'erba aromatica, non so come si dice in italiano, è un'erba aromatica.
We've seen it instead of dying in September.
Aneto.
Brava.
Instead of dying in September, it carries off living into next March and April, over in winter in the open atmosphere. So we have to understand. We don't know.
La Fondazione Keshe sta facendo molto affidamento ai governi, appunto l'ultima dichiarazione che non sarà un privato a produrre, ma sarà il governo stesso. sulla base di cosa c'è questa, diciamo così, bontà e questa fiducia verso i
loro
governi?
si fiano di più dei loro governi, ti rispondo subito però.
No, anche perché diciamo, la storia nel passato ci dimostra che non ci sia stato poi tutta questa volontà di mettere alla luce delle invenzioni o comunque delle scoperte.
Okay.
Quindi,
reality we don't know, but the thing is, I've written years ago to United Nations, and I always say it in my talks, my technology will not be accepted out of its beauty or what it brings, but out of the power of its destruction. What this means is that they won't accept it because it's going to make things easier, but as we've seen today, why American government accepts the technology in such an open way is because they know all the F-16, all the latest intercontinental missiles are obsolete. It's finished.
Yep.
You have two choices. You go and sit, as I said in my writings, how many Africans do you want in front of the White House and how many Chinese you want in front of the White House before you wake up? Okay? But on the other hand, what we saw in past week, 10 days, Prime Minister of the government taking a specific trip to sell $6 billion of arms to be bought by a nation which doesn't have the pilots for it, is finished. These are the last flying flights will be sold. I don't think even the planes which have been sold in the past 12 months will ever be delivered, now that the technology is in open. F-16, sonic speed, 2 hours maximum, if the fuel allows. These systems, they can fly for years, Mach 25, Mach 50. So which one are you going to buy? The cost of a system, 6 billion for a handful of crafts. The cost of a system, 11,000 euro for as much and as fast as you want to go. Let's change. These reactors cost only less than 11,000, 12,000 euro to produce to go to moon. We have given the address to your government. This is where it's made, go and make it. You don't need to believe us anymore. Yeah?
Okay.
So the change will come out of costing the price, and secondly, you don't need it.
Stavamo aspettando questa rivoluzione traducitura. Noi ci domandiamo che cosa possiamo fare. Noi lavoriamo in tante organizzazioni nella comunicazione, lavoriamo nelle medicine alternative, lavoriamo nei comparti sociali. Noi che lavoriamo nella società, che cosa possiamo fare per aiutare questa rivoluzione? Una parte del lavoro da molti di noi è già stata fatta. Culturalmente abbiamo preparato e ci stiamo preparando a un salto di coscienza, ma concretamente per aiutare questa rivoluzione che cosa possiamo fare?
The thing is, just keep the technology in public. In Belgium, for over past 7 years, they've done everything to silence us. And what happened, we saw it in Belgium. The press, the top press, wanted to publish. Government has said no, we can't publish. In other journals outside the country publishing documents about us, and Belgium's reading it, the government has lost control. They've literally lost control. Belgium has a different characteristics to the rest of the European community. So they blocked everything that they could steal. Belgium are the biggest thieves in industrial espionage, it's well known. So they try to pressurize us till we say, okay, you can have what you like. They threaten to kill me. We put a name out to the government officers, oh, it doesn't matter. So now we publish so much outside, so much things was put in press outside, so much interviews I gave outside Belgium, that they can't do anything anymore. They've lost control. Keep the press active, let people know what is their right. And then you find out, with that the government will move the same way. You don't need to spend billions into wasted programs where you can spend the same thing, allowing people to have energy, allowing to have clean water. It doesn't cost anymore that much. It does not cost to have enough energy at literally free. But on the other hand, you have to pay something for it that the society keeps functioning. Yeah? So keep people understanding exactly what is in the hand of the government and what are the potential of it. The potential of what it can bring will bring people in line to work, to help the government. Don't raise people against your government, because that's where the failure comes. Right? I'm putting an article out tonight or tomorrow morning on the forum. I say explain and pray for your leaders, that they understand, they absorb positive energy. Don't keep on putting your governments down and all sorts, because then you have to spend more energy to bring them up to zero that you can build on it. And I had a meeting with what do you call it, with the member of parliament this afternoon. Yeah? I said the same thing, build on my technology for bettering your nation. And we agreed on the program, what we're going to do if certain things happen, but I don't think things will happen. Because next 7 to 14 days, there will be a huge change in technology. Next 14 days we'll see it. By the end of November, the shift will be completed in so many ways. The shift will come not out of us, 90% from what you Italians have done. You Italians don't know how you changed everything. You don't even realize. In the future you understand, your people will write. The world government refused to attend because of fear of America. European EU did not attend, would not. They even called us, they said they come, and the last minute the American put so much pressure, did not come. But you Italians, through your internet programs and everything else, put so much pressure that the ambassador had to send somebody in, because he had to answer to you lot. And in the Italian diplomats attending, she didn't even want to be there. But as she sat there and listened to more and more, she said there is something happening there. I could see her because she was
and the pressure continues.
Yes, yeah. And then, yeah, even now. And then she attended. And what we did, we didn't say anything. We did not go and say, oh, Italians attended. We never released the name of the nations who came to the presentation. I have a long connection with diplomatic corps, with the governments. I know the political language. I know if it was anybody else, oh, this government, this attended, that attended. No, I kept total silence according to what they want, because they don't want to be persecuted by nobody. And then we received a call, Italian government is prepared to accept the key. I said, I'll be there lunchtime. It was there, I was there 4 o'clock, the key was handed over. And with the only European government breaking away from NATO organization and accepting the key, then it just opened up keys, one by one, because we said, no problem, Italy has it. Oh, if Italy has it, why shouldn't we? You understand? So, but Italy as one of the major industrial worlds, it was very easy for the Africans because Italy has accepted it. I didn't call the ambassador of Sudan. He called me, says, I'm coming to collect the key, when would you be in the office? I said, no, come in anytime. We're going to release the video of the presentation on the 7th. When the officials of the Thailand embassy came, I asked her, would you like me to give you the key in private? She said, no, I come all the way for everybody to know we are there, because it's important. Now we have 3 governments who have asked me to, please can you come and bring us the technology? Yeah? And it all came because you Italians did your job in pressurizing the government that we need to know what has got to be there. And now I explain, people have to understand for how significant this handover of the key to the American government is. An ambassador does not send or come, especially at that state, the high level government, to sit and ask his enemy to give us a technology which they are fighting for against. The email is very clear. We would like to have your nuclear reactor plasma technology, specifically in space nuclear. And if you look at the date when the request has come to receive it, is on the day of the American presidential election, 3 hours into the election. They knew they won. They knew the shift was in their way. So, and when the ambassador writes to somebody at my level, President should have agreed with it already to come in. It's a huge significance. That's why we keep everything respectable. I still give a hand of friendship to them. We ask for the peace organization to be done because they knew you Italians have it. They knew the Japanese have already received it. They knew immediately that 2 African nations, and I went to Africa especially for a week to hand over the key and teach. They knew it's not a game anymore. But with you Italians breaking open the NATO camp, there was no, what do you call it? There was no stop. And now, how many governments is left? The only ones we left is South Korea, major Western organization. South Africa is coming very soon. We know what's going to happen. You have Mexico, and Canada is not going to get it anyway. Canada has to sort out what they've done first before they receive it. And that's very clear. Because I'm not the only scientist they kidnapped. They kidnapped a lot of scientists, but out of the fear of their life, scientists don't talk. You call Somalia hijacking on the high seas, you don't know how many scientists, Canadians are stealing on the high seas in the airplanes. This has to be opened up. This has to be put, how come these things can happen in the world of science? No? Are the scientists worse than the little shipment in a boat somewhere in the high seas? And this cannot happen. So now we see what you Italians have done, and that was one of the reasons I came to give this talk. I'm here on a private visit this weekend. Yeah? And when we were on the what do you call it, on the internet conversation, yes. They were on. Yes. Yeah? I said, I'm coming. If you want to put on, I'll make a presentation. This wasn't planned. This was all done in the past 7 days. To sort of internet communication with Peroni. What's his name?
Francesca?
No, with Peroni. He said, oh, he said, would you like to come on the conference, what do you call it, Skype conference in 10 minutes? I said, why not with him? He has opened. This guy has done so much for your government, you cannot imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Peroni, Mr. Ciro Peroni, has done so much. He's answerable to government. I thank him for it. He's become a father. He hardly gets any sleep at the moment, but he has done a lot. He's continuously in touch with me, and the ambassadors give him a time he can call in.
Yes, I know.
They respond to him. They have to answer to him somehow because of his position. And he is continuously following everything step by step. No government should tell people outside the embassy, especially at our level, when such a technology in what is going with the diplomatic bags and the rest of it, what day and when. But it's become so much trust between us and them that they tell us everything. Because it's open, it's very open. I said to your officials, my reactors are yours. If it's going to take you 4 weeks to build it, I'll give you mine till you're ready. No scientist does these things, because it's exactly what the Iranian government did with me. When I was just explaining before I come in here, When I came out of Iran, His Excellency President Ahmadinejad and his research office, they didn't say all these reactors we built for you is ours, you just take your suitcase and go back. They wrapped all the reactors, all the parts, anything which I wanted, which they built for the Iranian Space Agency, into boxes, sealed boxes, and they just gave it to me. Says if you go to, what do you call it, when you go back, you can do more with it, you can share the knowledge with others. Which government does this? Now if you make a screw which is different, they give you 1,000 patents and all sorts of, what do you call it, restrictions, you cannot talk about it. A government developing such a technology, they let it go with the scientists. Who's talking? These things doesn't happen. But the openness with the Iranian government allowed us, and we brought the same openness to the other countries, and we've done the same thing with you, we've done the same thing with us. And this is going to change. Things are going, it's become a technology that we are all putting things into it. Your officials, when I was in the embassy, she said, let's bring all the scientists of the world together, let's work together this time. This is the input from your government. Oh, yes. And that's then, we had the Thai officials, while she was in the meeting, she received instruction from her government. We are flying scientists in. I immediately told your officials, they are coming in. The government of Armenia is sending scientists in. Americans are sending. This conference of the scientists will be scientists together bringing the technology out. What's the best way? How shall we handle it? Most probably there will be a center for the development altogether. I don't know. I leave it for the government to decide. But now it's gone from governments into hand of the scientists to bring it out together. And it's very nice the way it's developing, but we don't say anything. It was your suggestion, your official suggestion, which I said this is what we plan to do. Now the Thai government has put a date on it. Now we agree the date, we know when they are coming in. Now when we suggest to the other governments, they all say, okay, we can send 4 or 5, or can we come 2 or 3? It's going to change quite a bit. But this time, your government won't make a decision, but the scientists will make a decision. And the government will follow the scientists. We see it, and I'm pretty sure it's the way it's going to go. I'm 99% sure it's the way it's going to go. And that's again thanks to you Italians.
Yeah, we
Very simple question. If the human body is an electromagnetic field, which is entrance and which is exit?
There is no point of entrance. Your exit is your mouth. It's not what they say there, because you add through certain direction.
This is exit.
Entrance.
The mouth.
The entrance.
Entrance.
And you get it that way. There is no other way, because that's the only way you keep on adding to it. To me, as a scientist, the way I work with the body, the brain part has nothing to do with the body part.
Okay.
You can exist without the body. And I've seen it, I've tried it, and it's correct. Because you need the power of thoughts and power of soul. This part is a feeding station. This part is which actually brings the whole thing together.
Volevo informare che i colleghi giornalisti che il 15 dicembre nel centro Fiera del Garda a Montichiari l'ingegner Keshe riceverà il Talent Gold a nome dato da una fondazione bresciana, e la motivazione non sta tanto nelle tecnologie che lui ha messo a punto, ma nella messa a disposizione di queste tecnologie per l'amore verso l'umanità e per il fatto che lui mette a disposizione gratuitamente dell'umanità queste tecnologie. E in quell'occasione, il 15 dicembre, a cui tutti siete invitati in una sala da 1000 posti con traduzione simultanea, ma in quell'occasione verrà presentato anche al dottor Keshe una delle realizzazioni che un ingegnere bresciano ha creato per le città del futuro, basate proprio sulla tecnologia Keshe. e ci sono dei disegni già pronti.
Possiamo fare una rapida esposizione proprio perché sono qui.
Sì, i disegni li abbiamo qui, Raffaella, e comunque verranno presentati in modo particolare il 15 dicembre e al dottor Keshe in quell'occasione verrà anche presentata una struttura a livello planetario che si chiama arcipelago, formato da isole del risveglio, di cui adesso nel change.org è stata inserita questa petizione, sono iniziate le firme, proprio per sostenere a livello mondiale questa tecnologia. Ma adesso giungo alla domanda, dopo aver dato questa informazione, la domanda all'amico Keshe, perché per noi è un grande amico, siamo qua in 12 dal bresciano mantovano, e 3 di noi erano stati il 24 settembre la prima delegazione italiana che l'ha contattato e intervistato a Bruxelles. Ma la mia domanda è questa: se secondo lui questa tecnologia darà vita proprio ad un nuovo modo di vivere in case diverse da quelle che abbiamo oggi, in situazioni immerse nell'acqua, in situazioni immerse nel verde, a contatto diretto con la natura, ecco, cioè la sua tecnologia non cambierà soltanto il modo di produrre energie, ma la mia domanda è: cambierà anche le nostre abitazioni?
I wrote an email to our communication in the United Nations that the problem is on the forum somewhere, we can't find it. That the problem in the very near future is too hard to find population for big cities, because you don't need to live in center. I think I mentioned you don't need to live in center of Tokyo to pay millions to live in a small piece when you can live in Africa and be there in 10 minutes. And even with the big cities, one of the biggest problem will be how we will disperse from living this city center position. We were standing in the airport coming here with my son, and I said, this is going to be a funny thing. Huh? No, this is in the hotel, standing outside. I said, go to my daughter. Said, this will be a very funny thing, you know, these suitcases and things there's no need for. You don't need to go to the airports. You don't need to carry suitcases. You go home and come back. These things are funny to you, but it's the reality. Go back to press. Go back and check on the internet. The Iranian Minister of Defense said very recently on the interview 4 or 5 months ago that the Iranian ships will reach the border of America, because Iran has never invaded any country for 300 years. And then I read an article somewhere, these guys, just because they managed to get one boat through the Suez Canal, they think now they can reach America. And I said in that communication that a few months ago, Iran spoke about possessing to be the first nation with a spaceship program. What they didn't say to you is that they won't be there with a ship, but they're there with a spaceship. What this means, they don't need to cross your border. If Iran says we can come to Washington, then it's aggression. But when we can be at your borders, it means we can do what we like. And this is what I said in my talk, and I said to the Americans, I said, we cross your country so often you don't even know. You understand? So people will move out of the cities, they will, because the way we live is not accepted. So building new cities, even the new cities, what I see to be done for a space, colonization is the ultimate goal of our space technology. But cities like this, if you understand the structure, you cannot build in space. On Earth it's possible. Because in space you work totally different, in a different place. this stacking system, apartment system is finished. Now we go flat, because now you have as much land as you like. You can live. I wrote an email to the officials in NASA in a certain way. I said it's a shame to have such a technology that we can help you with the New York disaster in the past 2-3 weeks. And because you blocked us, you're the first one you're paying for it. But on the other hand, in my other input in my forum, I said, when this technology is developed first, it has to go to Haiti first, because they got 2 years ago the earthquake, nobody helped them. Then it has to go to Pakistan, in North Pakistan, people are still living in tents in the mountains. And then maybe the Americans will have the luxury, if you have enough time, to go to the rest water. Because now you give a small suitcase, less than the suitcase behind you. It gives you all the water, all the energy, everything you need. If you have such a unit and you can live in the middle of deserts, why do you need to have 10 people on top of you? This is the change are so, we see it, I can see clearly how the society will be closed but disintegrate as this stacking up system. There won't be on top, this situation cannot exist. I have a patient who is 8 years old. He's had a leukemia and he can't go to school. They've done a bone marrow and he's in Belgium. And he starts his school at 9 o'clock in the morning on the internet with the rest of the class. And when it comes break time, one of the students sits behind him, they play a computer game and they joke or whatever till the next lesson. This is how the future will be. And I said I could not believe how this guy is getting well educated at home, in the hospital. Every morning, 9 o'clock is behind the computer, he gets taught and he has to answer to the teacher. And this is the future. But you need to be stacked on top of each other. I don't see it.